Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our too early pre-draft running back rankings for 2021 fantasy football season. We want to help you win your draft to win your league. Let's get started with this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside. I am Justin, and that is Kyle. Man, that music just gets you going, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football Podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Once again, we are back for Season 2 of The Upside.
Yes.
Taking some time because we've been working hard in the lab. We're wanting to bring you the Upside information and our new look. Let us know how you think, what you think about it. So, second episode of Season 2 of The Upside is the start of our too early rankings for running backs for the 2021 fantasy football season. And today, we're hitting you with running backs 18 through 13. Definitely check out our running back rankings 24 through 19. That was dropped yesterday. You'll find that in the description below. Click that little link.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, what you got before we get rolling?
All right, guys, make sure you hit that like button. That's what we're going to focus on this year, the like buttons. We want the likes.
Yep.
We like the likes. That's what we want. Make sure you hit that if you're the best to have ever played fantasy football and you want to win your draft or win your league this year. You know, we're going to try to help you out with that. And maybe you'll teach a thing or two to us. But, yeah, that's where we are. So, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and start off with running back 18, right? That's where we're at. All right, Here we go. So as I've got it right here, we've got Miles Sanders with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was startable, or had 7 startable finishes out of 12 games that he played in 2020. Just to define startable for you, that means he was a running back 1 or a running back 2 in that week. And so that counts as a startable week. We don't count flex for that purpose. All right, so he was also running back 20 overall in our power rankings during 2020 season. That incorporates a lot of different things like consistency, high score, low score, deviations, all kinds of things in that. And so he was the 20th overall running back. So I think that you can expect a little bit of an increase here. You do have new head coach coming in, so that leaves some question marks there. The real big hope here is that the offensive line can stay pretty healthy. If they can, then maybe you'll get that breakout that the Sanders truthers have been looking for a really long time.
Yeah.
But the new head coach is a Frank Reich guy, so I imagine there's a little bit more focus on the running game than there has been in years past, even still. I mean, you could never really understand or guess what Peterson was going to do. So it's a slight change there.
Yeah.
All right, who you got at running back 17, Justin?
At 17, this is one of your guys, James Robinson. You were on this train early last year, super early. Jacksonville Jags. He finished as the number 7 running back in 2020. Just like Kyle's mentioned, when we were talking about startable, he was finished as an RB1 or RB2 in 11 of the 14 games played. Now, one thing I do want to halt the brakes just a little bit. They brought in Travis Etienne out of the first round of the 2021 NFL draft. So you may see a little bit of a touchdown and touch regression candidate because there wasn't much behind him last year after they let Leonard Fournette go. But this guy is still being severely underrated. I mean, Kyle, whenever I look at this situation when it comes to the Jags, I kind of look at the Browns when it comes to Chubb and Hunt. I could kind of see that as a Robinson to Etienne. You know, Robinson is a guy that can, ground and pound, can still catch the ball out of the backfield, but you really bring in that, Kareem Hunt to kind of catch the ball out of the backfield, and you have Travis Etienne, who's been running, has been throwing in some wide receiver routes already in practice.
Yeah. All right, so I hit the button a little bit too early there, but we're moving on here. Our running back 16, we've got DeAndre Swift. He was startable last year, 8 out of 13 games. That's pretty good. It's a lot better than Detroit running backs in the past, at least, right? They usually would miss about half the season, so that's a little bit better. Most of his startable finishes were actually in the running back 2 realm, so he was consistently a running back 2. I want to say that he was up near like 14 a lot of the time, running back 14. So we're kind of guessing that Dan Campbell's going to focus a little bit more on the running game. Possibly, I don't know. But we do know, or can at least imagine, that having Goff there is going to take some of the pressure off of him, remove a guy from the box here and there, that kind of thing. The only concern that I have here that I want to raise is that Jamal Williams is there and he will get a good amount of work. He is a pretty consistent touch stealer. And he did that in Green Bay. he's not the worst, but he's also not the best. Oh, and speaking of that, he's not the worst. But yeah, he's not the best. So Jamal Williams is kind of a frustrating guy. So if you go and get DeAndre Swift, I think that you have to be aware of that concern there. And I would also get Williams as a handcuff because of Detroit running back history, right? So I would say that, he's drag and drop kind of player, really, for you there. So, all right, let's hit running back 15, Justin.
Number 15, I have David Montgomery of the Bears. Montgomery finished as the number 2 running backs in weeks 12 through 17. That kind of coincides with a week schedule and Tariq Cohen already be announced. Now, when I talk about Tariq Cohen, he should be back from the torn ACL, but when Cohen played last year, David Montgomery finished 17th in touches per game. But with Cohen out, he finished 4th. So that's one of those things where, David Montgomery efficiency is not really part of his game, but a high number of touches per game really leads to fantasy value. That's what we're really looking for is fantasy value, maybe not quite how good the player actually is. And, that shows because he was number 66 in all of running backs when it comes to fantasy points per opportunity. So not the greatest of efficiency.
So you know what high volume guy.
High volume guy. But you know what is very efficient is what Kyle's going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Hit me, Kyle.
All right. That is our Victory Draft Kit, guys. 2021 Victory Draft Kit is almost here. It's going to start on July 1st. We're going to drop it, start making deliveries on that. So make sure you get your pre-order in over at ffbupside.com. And you can also find it over at patreon.com/fantasyfootballupside. We have memberships available there, and if you are at the right level, you will be getting the draft kit. You'll be able to tell from the tiers what that is. Victory Draft Kit is going to be chock full of information. It's going to help you dominate your fantasy league from day one this year, guys. Remember, you can't win your league win your league on draft day, but you can certainly lose it. So make sure you win your draft to win your league. It's going to be full of all kinds of stuff: pre-draft rankings for standard PPR and half PPR, power rankings from 2020, player consistency grades from 2020. We're going to add in some sleepers, deep sleepers, underrated players, overrated players, fades, and hidden gems. So make sure you get that. It's going to be available July 1st. All right, so what do we got here? We're moving on here to running back 14, right?
Man, all Kyle, right, that song, dude, that song just hits differently.
Yeah.
Guys, if you like that song, hit that like button down below. It just hits.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's great. When we found that, we kind of figured it sounds a lot like, the
All or Nothing.
And All or Nothing.
Yeah.
A lot, just like all those things, like combined,
yeah.
right?
If they had a baby, that's what...
Yeah, if they had a baby.
If they had a song baby, that's what happened right there.
Song baby. All right, so I'm on running back 14. Here we go. We've got J.K. Dobbins. He's kind of a middle-of-the-road running back too most weeks. At least last year he was. And so that's it's a little bit difficult to see where he's going to likely be drafted. I think that he's going to sneak into the back of the first round in a lot of drafts just because I think that there's a tendency now really, really to go heavy on running backs, everywhere. And I think that's why zero running back is making sense in a few leagues, but you got to really know the guys who you're drafting against to do that. Right. So look, the added benefit of being a starter as a reliable running back too, is, as a result, that's what you're getting out of him. So he may not wow you any particular week, but he's going to, he's going to get it done for you. He's going to still be consistent for you. If you broke down the 16-week season, he scored 9.4 points per week if you account for that missed time. And, there's not really a threat to his third down control anymore, right? They lost.
Mark Ingram's
gone. And then, but the guys that they do have, you got Justice Hill and
Gus
Edwards is still there. So you do have a little bit of a risk, but I think they're going to try to keep him on the field a little bit more. He is actually a potential bell cow as I see it in the NFL sense of the word now, or modern NFL sense of the word. His volume could cause him to finish as an RB1 overall by season's end, but he's probably going to be a consistent running back too. It's possible that he's just constantly a running back too. And as a result, he adds all that up at the end of the year. His total points for you finish in RB1 territory.
Total.
That's why we talk about the startable weeks question mark. That's what we're really keying in on, is how often is this guy going to be a game changer for you? So don't expect too many elite finishes out of him. You're just not going to get that. You're probably going to end up with back of the RB1 territory is a high end. And that's mostly due to the guy who he's got throwing the ball there, and that's Lamar Jackson, right? That's what it really boils down to. I think that's a problem. He's the biggest competition for carries there. All right, we're moving on here. Our last one, running back 13, Justin. Who you got?
Now, you mentioned cowbell when you're talking about J.K. Dobbins, and I'm going to talk about Cam Akers as our number 13 for the L.A. Rams, and he was a cowbell at the end of the season last year. He averaged 24 touches a game. The final 4 games he played, he did miss one in between there, but I mean, he does have that workhorse potential when it comes to what they were doing at the end of last year. But I put the stat up there when it comes to the end zone. I mean, was he allergic to it? I mean, he finished 48th in touchdown percentage. I mean, is that unlucky, or is it just not, did they go to Darrell Henderson when it came down to the goal line? So it's something to really keep an eye on. I kind of, when it comes to abbreviated preseason, this is going to be kind of interesting this year, guys. How much are they going to throw out running backs and stuff like that to make sure they don't get hurt, but you still want to see what they got. And this is actually one of those ones I'm going to be watching quite a bit to see what Sean McVay does with this offense and with this running back room, because I just see a lot of boomer bust when it comes to Cam Akers potentially. So I just don't see that they're going to be able to have that workhorse 24 touches a game moving forward.
That's tough. I don't know what they're going to do there. That offense was looking for itself last year really hard. And without Goff, I don't know what the real plan is there. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up here for this episode. Make sure you hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to drop those down below. We'll try to help you out. Hit up our last episode. We hit running backs 24 through 19 in that one. And shortly, we're going to be starting our top 12 running backs. So check it out. Keep tuned in. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
See ya.